Chapter 2, Sleep. From the book Neville Goddard, Feeling is the Secret. Sleep, the life that occupies 1/3 of our stay on earth, is the natural door into the subconscious. So it is with sleep that we are now concerned. The conscious 2/3 of our life on earth is measured by the degree of attention we give sleep. Our understanding of and delight in what sleep has to bestow will cause us night after night to set out for it as though we were keeping an appointment with a lover. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon man, in slumbering upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of man and sealeth their instruction. Job 33. It is in sleep and in prayer, a state akin to sleep, that man enters the subconscious to make his impressions and receive his instructions. In these states, that conscious and subconscious are creatively joined. The male and female became one flesh. Sleep is the time when the male or conscious mind turns from the world of sense to seek its lover or subconscious self. The subconscious, unlike the woman of the world who marries her husband to change him, has no desire to change the conscious waking state, but loves it as it is and faithfully reproduces its likeliness in the outer world of form. The conditions and events of your life are your children formed from the molds of your subconscious impressions in sleep. They are made in the image of likeness of your innermost feeling that they may reveal you to yourself. As in heaven, so on earth. Matthew 6:10, Luke 11:2. As in the subconscious, so on earth. Whatever you have in consciousness as you go to sleep in the measure of your expression in the waking 2/3 of your life on earth. Nothing stops you from realizing your objective, save your failure to feel that you are already that which you wish to be, or that you are already in possession of the thing sought. Your subconscious gives form to your desires only when you feel your wish fulfilled. The unconscious of sleep is the normal state of the subconscious, because all things come from within yourself, and your conception of yourself determines that which comes. You should always feel the wish fulfilled before you drop off to sleep. You never draw out of the deep of yourself that which you want. You always draw that which you are. And you are that which you feel yourself to be, as well as that which you feel as true of others. To be realized, then the wish must be resolved into the feeling of being or having or witnessing the state sought. This is accomplished by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the feeling which comes in response to the question, how would I feel were my wish realized? Is the feeling which should monopolize and immobilize your attention as you relax into sleep. You must be in the consciousness of being or having that which you want to be or to have before you drop off to sleep. Once asleep, man has no freedom of choice. His entire slumber is dominated by his last waking concept of self. It follows, therefore, that he should always assume the feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction before he retires in sleep. Come before me with singing and thanksgiving. Psalm 95:2. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Psalm 104. Your mood prior to sleep defines your state of consciousness as you enter into the presence of your everlasting lover, the subconscious. She sees you exactly as you feel yourself to be. If, as you prepare for sleep, you assume and maintain the consciousness of success by feeling, I am successful, you must be successful. Lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body. Feel as you were in possession of your wish and quietly relax into unconsciousness. He that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Psalms 121:4. Nevertheless, he giveth his beloved sleep. Psalm 127:2. The subconscious never sleeps. Sleep is the door through which the conscious waking mind passes to be creatively joined to the subconscious. Sleep conceals the creative act while the objective world reveals it. In sleep, man impresses the subconscious with his conception of himself. What more beautiful description of this romance of the conscious and subconscious is there than told in the Song of Solomon? By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loved. 3:1. I found him whom my soul loved. I held him and I not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her that conceived me. Preparing to sleep, you feel yourself into the state of the answered wish and then relax into unconsciousness. Your realized wish is he whom you seek. By night on your bed, you seek the feeling of the wish fulfilled that you may take it with you into the chamber of her that conceived you. Into sleep, all the subconscious which gave you form, that this wish also may be given expression. This is the way to discover and conduct your wishes into the subconscious. Feel yourself in the state of the realized wish and quietly drop off to sleep. Night after night, you should assume the feeling of being, having, and witnessing that which you seek to be, possess, and see manifested. Never go to sleep feeling discouraged or dissatisfied. Never sleep in the consciousness of failure. Your subconscious, whose natural state is sleep, sees you as you believe yourself to be. And whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, the subconscious will faithfully embody your belief. As you feel, so you do impress her, and she, the perfect lover, gives form to these impressions and outpictures them as the children of her beloved. Disregard appearances and feel that things are as you wish them to be, for he calleth things that are not seen as though they were, and the unseen becomes seen. To assume the feeling of satisfaction is to call conditions into being which will mirror satisfaction. Signs follow, they do not precede. Proof that you are will follow this consciousness that you are, it will not precede it. You are an eternal dreamer, dreaming non-eternal dreams. Your dreams take form as you assume the feeling of their reality. Do not limit yourself to the past. Knowing that nothing is impossible to consciousness, begin to imagine states beyond the experiences of the past. Whatever the mind of man can imagine, man can realize. All objective, visible states were first subjective, invisible states, and you call them into visible by assuming the feeling of their reality. The creative process is first imagining and then believing the state imagined. Always imagine and expect the best. The world cannot change until you change your conception of it, as within, so without. Nations, as well as people, are only what you believe them to be. No matter what the problem is, no matter where it is, no matter whom it concerns, you have no one to change but yourself, and have neither opponent nor helper in bringing about the change within yourself. You have nothing to do but convince yourself of the truth that which you desire to see manifested. As soon as you succeed in convincing yourself of the reality of the state sought, results follow to confirm your fixed belief. You never suggest to another the state which you desire to see him express. Instead, you convince yourself that he is already that which you desire him to be. Realization of your wish is accomplished by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You cannot fail unless you fail to convince yourself of the reality of your wish. A change of belief is confirmed by a change of expression. Every night as you drop off to sleep, feel satisfied and spotless, for your subjective lover always forms the objective world in the image of your likeness, of your conception of it, the conception defined by your feeling. The waking 2/3 of your life on earth ever corroborates or bears witness to your subconscious impressions. The actions and events of the days are effects, they are not causes. Free will is only freedom of choice. Choose ye this day whom ye shall serve. Joshua 24:15 is your freedom to choose the kind of mood you assume. But the expression of the mood is the secret of the subconscious. The subconscious receives impressions only through the feelings of man, in a way known only to itself, gives these impressions form and expression. The actions of man are determined by his subconscious impressions. His illusion of free will, his belief in freedom of action, is but ignorance of the cause which makes him act. He thinks himself free because he has forgotten the link between himself and the event. Man awake is under compulsion to express his subconscious impressions. If in the past he unwisely impressed himself, then let him begin to change his thought and feeling, for only as he does so will he change the world. Do not waste one moment in regret, for to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Let the dead bury the dead. Matthew 8:22. Turn from your appearances and assume the feeling that would be yours were you already the one you wish to be. Feeling a state produces that state. The part you play on the worst stage is determined by your conception of yourself. By feeling your wish fulfilled and quietly relaxing into sleep, you cast yourself in the star role to be played on earth tomorrow, and while asleep, you are rehearsed and instructed in your part. The acceptance of the end automatically wills the means of realization. Make no mistake about this. If, as you prepare for sleep, you do not consciously feel yourself into the state of the answered wish, then you will take with you into the chamber of her who conceived you the sum total of the reactions and feelings of the waking day. And while asleep, you will be instructed in the manner in which they will be expressed tomorrow. You will rise believing that you are a free agent, not realizing that every action and event of the day is predetermined by your concept of self as you fell asleep. Your only freedom then is your freedom of reaction. You are free to choose how you feel and react to the day's drama, but the drama, the action, events, circumstances of the day have already been determined. Unless you consciously and purposely define the attitude of mind with which you go to sleep, you unconsciously go to sleep in the composite attitude of mind made up of all feelings and reactions of the day. Every reaction makes a subconscious impression, and unless counteracted by an opposite and more dominant feeling, is the cause of future actions. Ideas enveloped in feeling are creative actions. Use your divine right wisely. Through your ability to think and feel, you have dominion over all creation. While you are awake, you are gardeners selecting seed for your garden. But except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. John 12:24. Your conception of yourself as you fall asleep is the seed you drop into the ground of the subconscious. Dropping off to sleep feeling satisfied and happy compels conditions and events to appear in your world which confirm these attitudes of mind. Sleep is the door into heaven. What you take in as a feeling, you bring out as a condition, action, or object in space. So sleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. this is the best chapter anybody has written on the importance of what you feel and what you think right before you fall asleep. Nobody has talked about the state akin to sleep and the state you feel before falling asleep better than Neville Goddard, because he's being very specific and he talks in a tone that is very solemnful. You have to understand that this getaway sleep, there's also prayer, but we'll talk about this in the next audio video, next chapter. The importance of the state you are in before sleep, while you fall asleep, is crucial. The whole thing about techniques is shutting down the senses. Why? Because no matter how good you are at this, the senses are powerful in a sense like it's hard to... Okay, let me repeat it. It's not so easy to deny what your senses are seeing. If right now you are poor and you imagine yourself to be rich, as soon as you open your eyes, you might have a million things showing you that what you have just imagined is a lie. Right? So what we need to do is shut down those senses. Because when we shut down those senses, it's open bar, so to speak. We can do whatever we want. We can imagine whatever we want. Because when we shut down those senses, to a certain extent or completely, prior to sleep, you get to a point where they are completely shut down because you are really transitioning into sleep. So the conscious mind is slowly but surely, or even quickly, moving away. So your senses are shut down, and the only thing left is for you to have this window of opportunity to impress the subconscious mind with the wish fulfilled. And in this window of time, when the senses are shut, you can imagine whatever you want to be without the senses denying it. And while you do this every night, not only the events, circumstances, and the world will shape itself, and yourself will shape yourself. Everything will shape itself. You, the world, events, circumstances, everything in your world will shape itself to bring about this manifestation in your reality. You will also not put so much importance onto what you see. As I said in the previous chapter, when you impress the subconscious mind, when you feel that you already have what you seek, the intense desire is diminished significantly until the point where it feels neutral. You might even feel that you don't necessarily want it anymore because you lose. The desire has lost its intensity. You need not worry about this. Why? Because the desire has been translated as something that has been impressed upon the subconscious mind, which means that you have lived in the wish fulfilled properly and efficiently. So you have planted the seed. All you need to do now is do not dig up the seed. And this is a subject for another day, which means that pretty much keep a strict mental diet and not dwell on thoughts, feelings, and moods and actions and reaction that are misaligned, that are not aligned with the wish fulfilled. But that's another subject, and I digressed. But once you have planted the seed, you will at the very least feel neutral about this desire. It will feel natural. You will feel satisfaction when you do the techniques. And when you feel the satisfaction, as Neville Goddard said, it means that the seed has been properly planted. Then again, I have to tell you guys that you do not need to think, have I done it right or wrong? You always assume that you're doing it right. Because by assuming that you're doing it right, one way or another you will do it right. By assuming you're not doing it right or having doubt about it, you will have more doubts. And therefore you will have this confusion. And therefore you will plant the seed of confusion and doubt, which will bring about more doubts about the techniques in and of itself and your ability to manifest, or even the credence of is this law of attraction manifestation a real thing or not. So always assume that you are doing it properly. Always assume it's working to your benefit. Always assume that. So prior to sleep, you live in the wish fulfill. Now, you can script, you can affirm, you can visualize. Obviously, scripting is not the best way to go about it because you cannot really script and fall asleep. I mean, you can technically, but it's not ideal. Let's put it that way. I script before going to sleep. I sleep before I lie down in my bed and turn on the light. But before I fall asleep, while I'm falling asleep, I affirm, generally speaking. Visualizing is good prior to sleep. However, in my experience, and that's only for me, you might be better than me at this, I tend to not be able to imagine and visualize so vividly and so intensely as I would, let's say, in the morning, because I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I have a lack of energy. So I don't visualize as well as I would had I had more energy. But it doesn't matter, you can still do it, and I do it sometimes because, let's be real, it's fun, you know, especially if you manifest a specific person, why not? It's one of the greatest way to fall asleep. So you can visualize, but I tend to like to just affirm on a loop. Sometimes I do all my affirmations, or most of the time I end up picking one affirmation and just looping and falling asleep with this affirmation. Saturate my mind, so to speak. So when you go to sleep, you need to understand that what you do in this window of time before you fall asleep, even the hour prior to sleep, you need to be careful of what you're watching, what you're listening to, how you're feeling. You want to always find a moment to maybe shut everything off and take 15, 20, 30 minutes for yourself and meditate, relax, stretch, take a cold shower, take a hot shower. Make yourself feel good, make yourself incredibly relaxed, and then go to bed with this feeling of peace and calm. And while you fall asleep, or if you are someone who really falls asleep really quickly, that's not the case for me. What you can do, instead of lying down directly and fall asleep directly, sit down for a moment. You're already tired, right? Sit down and just visualize and affirm for a while. You're already in this state akin to sleep because you fall asleep very quickly. So even if you're sitting, you still feel this tiredness and your conscious mind is already being shut to a certain extent. So you visualize while you're sitting, and you visualize, you affirm, whatever the case might be for you. You do this for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you want to do it. Then you lie down and you keep on doing whatever you were doing while you were sitting, but you will fall asleep very quickly. But you don't need to worry that much because you already have started while you were sitting, and you just keep on doing it until you fall asleep. Between sitting and falling asleep, you lie down and you do it. Even if it lasts for 30 seconds until you fall asleep, it doesn't matter. You have already started while you were sitting, and now you're lying down, you just fall asleep. It's perfect. Don't worry about this. I don't fall asleep so quickly. I'm talking about you guys who also don't fall asleep so quickly. Just affirm, keep on affirming, keep on affirming, keep on affirming, keep on visualizing, do both. It's the best time to do it. Just saturate your mind and do not let, even for a moment, any negative thoughts, any negative visual enter your mind. But generally speaking, when you fall asleep, you will be able to focus on the good things because your senses are shut and there's no distraction. So really, I have to emphasize what Neville Goddard said. Beware and be aware of what you bring with you into sleep. It is crucial. It is the best shortcut. Because when you go to sleep with the wish fulfilled, all you need to do during the day, even if you don't do the techniques, is to keep a mental diet that is strict. The only thing you need to do is fall asleep in the wish fulfilled, and during your waking moment during the day, between the moment you wake up and you fall asleep, when the conscious mind is alert, just keep a strict mental diet, which means what you have planted the night prior, you do not dig up. You do not dig up the seed you have planted during the time you fell asleep. That's the only thing you need to do. And by not digging up the seed, it means do not dwell, do not entertain, do not cultivate, do not encourage negative thoughts and negative visuals that are contradictory to what you have just planted the night prior. Hope it makes sense. Thank you so much for listening. I am Sebastian. Please like, share, and subscribe for more of this type of content. If you want more instructions, more help, more guidance, coaching is available. Check the link in the description box below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys very soon.